All right, welcome back to Making Picks. My name is Nathan. I'm joined with Mark. We are missing Will this week, both in our hearts and in the studio here.
I'm not
But
sure
Mark,
if we're
how are
missing
you
his
doing?
picks, though.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna have to make it up. He's got a lot of ground to cover. But Mark, so we talked last time about this epic adventure we were going to go on this past weekend, and how did that end up? Can you go into what was the last week's stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, we did a lot of things here. So I got a couple of different things. If you want to just go ahead and pull up my screen, so people have something else to look at besides our beautiful kind of faces, and they're kind of aware of what was going on. So I mean, look, action kind of packed for me. It kind of it started on a Friday afternoon. Um, a little bit of a ferry or a boat ride from Long Island to Connecticut. So there was a lot of drinking, a lot of kind of heavy drinking. Full disclosure, I'm 44 years old. I quickly have learned that I'm not 21 kind of anymore. So although my body thinks that it can do all of these different things here, it's tough.
Mm,
So it started on Friday, full evening out in Fairfield, Connecticut, which is a fun town. Deceptively kind of fun. Great town, great people. Probably hit about like 5 or 6 bars in a 3 or 4, period kind of window, easily. That's
mm.
probably generous from what I kind of recall and remember. So interacted with a lot of different people, giving people at bars and things like that an overview of statement games and just getting your finger on the pulse on what the perception is of sports betting in the state of Connecticut. So it was a great kind of a learning experience for me. It was great to kind of hear what some of the bar owners and bartenders had to thought about it, whether it was helping business, hurting business, just general feedback and things like that. So that was kind of like a great learning experience. We got up early Saturday morning after a full evening on Friday night and drove from Fairfield, Connecticut up to the New England's best sports memorabilia event, which is right outside of Boston. Didn't necessarily realize that it was a good 3 hours. I thought it was a little less than two, but I guess that's an E6 on my part. Great kind of show. Spent probably a good, I'd say 5.5, 6 hours kind of there. It was packed. I'd say about at least 150 different tables.
Nice.
Um, really good kind of stuff. We'll get into more of that like in a second. Then it was onto the casino. So I know that you and I had planned on kind of meeting up on Sunday, but as it turns out, and we'll get into it more, looks like I was a little bit more confined in the Mohegan Sun area, and you were kind of up at Foxwoods. So with regards to the show, I know just a couple of different things that I was able to kind of pick up here. I picked up two of these 1989 um, Upper Deck, which is the inaugural kind of baseball season of Upper Deck. It's got the famous
Mm.
#1 card, Ken Griffey Jr. Picked up two of those sets, paid $70 for them. I already kind of sold them utilizing Statement Games data. Um, I mean, nothing kind of crazy, but I picked up like a handful of these Michael Jordan Chicago White Sox minor league baseball cards, or I guess that's the Barons kind of cards. I already kind of flip them. Got a nice kind of Shaquille O'Neal card, a couple of other different things here. All in all, nothing kind of crazy. We'll get into it in a second here, but in total, I probably spent about $210 at the show, utilizing Statement Games data. I've already sold $210 worth of kind of stuff here. The two upper deck steps went pretty quickly. Got about $105 a piece, kind of for them. I still have the 1991 OPG Hockey Wax Box to sell, but picked it up for $5. I probably think I can get anywhere between $15 to $20 for that.
Hmm.
And still got the Shaquille O'Neal card. Nice card, PSA 10. I'm actually packaging that up with 3 additional raw Shaquille O'Neal Upper Deck rookie cards that I just had kind of on my own. I'll let you guys kind of know how that kind of goes. But all in all, kind of not a bad show. I'll keep you posted on how these things kind of do. But uh, happy with what I picked up and what I kind of was able to move on for. I picked up a couple of other things here, but I'll kind of save it. And I have nothing against the card show that I went to at Boston. I mean, it was great people, great kind of event, made a lot of great dealers. I'll touch base on a problem that I
Mhm.
have with these events. And now that
Okay.
I've been to about 3 of them in the past 3 months, I've been going to at least, once one show every 3 months. A little bone to pick. I'll get into that for a second. And you know, we'll just leave it at that kind of like for now. But
Sure.
from there on to Mohegan Sun.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured let's just kind of like do a little recap or review. Although we didn't kind of catch up here, but I'll shut up for a second. Why don't you give some thoughts on what your experience was at Foxwoods, and I'll jump in with what I kind of found at Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, so myself and my buddy John, we were super excited with sports gambling coming to Connecticut, and on part of that was the sports lounge that Foxwoods had, and Mohegan Sun was, from what I understood, was getting. I think so. When we made it down to Foxwoods, we got there around noon, just after noon, to try and get some early bets in. We were just going for the 1 o'clock games, so we ended up staying until about 4:30, and we get there, and took us a little bit to go through the casinos to find this thing, and finally we found out that it's a temporary sports book in the race book area. So on the right of the screen here, where you see all those monitors and everything, those are for the horses. And so they put up the games on the big monitors, a couple of them really. Um, Overall, it was a pretty bad experience. Was
Wow.
we all happy? And come to find out, the actual sports book that we thought we were going to didn't open until today. Actually, as we're recording this is the day that it was opening, so we missed it by a week. And we tried catching it on the way out, like walking by, but it was all like blocked off. But what it's supposed to be is this multi-level open concept room, where there's like a wall of TVs. There's all those like kiosks where you can go in and place your bets. So like in this photo, off to the left, like right behind where those people are sitting, there's a wall, and that's where they put the machines. So you can go there to place your bets. You go up to the
And just to interrupt you real quick, just so people know here, the Foxwoods photo is on the right hand side. The Mohegan Sun one is on the left hand side.
Yeah, yeah. So on the right, but the left side of the right image is like behind there, where it's not the photo isn't at. There is just a line of machines there, and then behind that is the bar. So, and that's kind of up on a pedestal. So you can do it in a number of ways, betting with the DraftKings. We personally, John and I, don't like the DraftKings app, so we've been using FanDuel. So I would have preferred to be at Mohegan Sun, but from what I had heard in all of the the local media and everything, is that the Mohegan Sun room wasn't open and wouldn't be open until um like midwinter. So we didn't even think that there would be anything at Mohegan Sun even to do, other than maybe um a couple of the machines like scattered around the casino. So yeah, so we went down there. We kind of had a terrible, not a terrible time, but a pretty bad time. Um Johnny bet like $300 over like a couple bets and lost them all because the games were crazy this past weekend.
Yeah.
I did a couple live bets to keep myself afloat on the Patriots game, and so we ended up, I had a few drinks. Actually ended up talking to some lady out of North Boston who had a business, and I got into my whole spiel of web design, and so waiting at possible client lead there. So it sounds like me and you, we're kind of cut from the same cloth. We get into social situations, and all we do is talk about work. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't exactly, that was not a good experience. I would like to go back and see the real room. But I'm very interested what Mohegan Sun had.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's something else kind of like coming. I mean, it was 100% full kind of like party mode in Mohegan Sun. So in full kind of like context, we get there. It's Saturday night. We just had like a nice dinner at the Italian restaurant, which is right around the corner from where these machines kind of like are. Um, you actually had a big UFC event. I mean, there was a bunch of fights taking place out of Madison Square Garden. The fights were kind of like starting somewhat kind of like early. So just the crowd of the atmosphere there on a Saturday night was completely like really fun, very energetic and rowdy. It was kind of like really fun. So I was betting on a couple of different fights on Friday night. I think I did all right here. To be honest with you, I'm losing track of what I actually kind of had done here. I did okay. I wound up getting smoked. I bet the Ranger game on that
Mhm.
Saturday night. They wound up getting killed like 6-0 to Calgary. So between like the fights and the Ranger game here, I kind of like broke even like a little bit here. Um, right behind like these machines over here, you have blackjack tables, roulette tables, things like that in a pretty kind of like a confined space. And then to the left of the cages over here, there's like a big kind of like sports bar. So you had like all
Mhm.
the games, you had high top kind of like tables, you had a railing or a banister that you can lean up against here, very easily accessible to get to the bar itself. You also had waitresses kind of like walking back and forth. I never had a problem kind of like getting a beer or getting a drink here. It was
Yeah.
just it was fun. I'm not sure if it was because it was a Saturday night and obviously there's just a different energy to a Saturday night crowd. Combine that with the UFC kind of like event, but even kind of walking around the whole casino, there was like this country kind of like bar. It was like a roadhouse bar type of a thing here. They had live music. All in all, the place was it was just a fun place to kind of like be
Mhm.
at. Love the energy, love kind of like the atmosphere. So
What was the average age of the people around you? Like in as you're going through this thing, um, like were they like your age? Were they older, younger?
I would say it was a mix. Because it was Saturday night, you definitely had like a lot of like those bachelorette parties kind of like walking
Sure.
around, which was fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess yeah, that was fun. Um, so that was kind of like good, and then I I would say almost by like 10 o'clock, the olderish crowd was dying down, but you had some older party animals there that they were locked
Mhm.
into a couple of these little slot machines, and they weren't kind of like going. So I would say
Yeah.
overall it was just a good all around kind of like mix,
Gotcha.
younger
Yeah, so
demographic as well as
yeah,
older people like me, and then older people
yeah.
that were hanging out.
Yeah, DraftKings, the race book was definitely there was a old creepy vibe. Um Guys that were obviously betting the races and not the NFL games, muttering to themselves, drunk, kind of homeless looking. It was not a party vibe at all.
Yeah, I
It
mean, I guess there were certain kind of like sections because you could. I didn't notice it. I'm just assuming that there was, but you did have the Breeders' Cup take place this past Friday and Saturday, so
Mhm.
I'm assuming that you had some horse players there, but I never got the sense that this was a horse racing betting crowd. I never got like the old stale you know uh, Long Island, Nassau, Suffolk County OTB type of a feel.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, so it seems like our experiences were very different, and it had you mentioned something, and because we were chatting a little bit on Sunday, and said like, "Hey, it's actually pretty cool at Mohegan." We probably would have hightailed it out of there immediately at 12 o'clock when we first saw that thing. It was yeah, just not and we were having problems with the machines as far as, like, parlay bets, not being accepted, and then some machines would accept certain bets and the others wouldn't. It was very strange. I don't know if I like DraftKings product, um, which
No
gets
problem with
into
the machines. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
yeah,
nothing like that. But
yeah, gets
we'll
into
see.
one other thing I'll add here is that I'm taking a trip to Michigan, for Thanksgiving next week, and, they have Caesars out there. and around the block from my parents is a casino that has a Caesars Sportsbook Lounge that I'm
Yeah,
very
you got to
much
check it out.
looking
Maybe
forward
take some pictures.
to. Yeah, I'm gonna go in there. Now this is a much smaller casino. It's larger for the area, but it's maybe like so Mohegan Sun, Foxwoods, they have like 4 casino areas. This would be the size of one of them with like a resort attached. So like one casino room. And so I'm kind of curious, like this is also because it's a Midwestern town, like younger audiences go to the the casino lounges and they have like a not a, I don't want to call it a discotheque and sound super old. Well, like club. Yeah, that's it. They have a casino club, that people go
You're
to.
struggling to come up with the word club.
Apparently, it was Monday Night Football. I
I
also
know
drank quite a
discotheque is
bit,
such a
and I'm
cool
not
word.
21 anymore.
Someone's got to bring that back. Discotheque.
Discotheque. I don't know why that even hit my, came into my head, but that was the first thing. And so, it's I have a feeling it could be upscale, but it's also Midwest. So I'm like hedging my bet and thinking like, man, this could be not as good as even what I saw at DraftKings. But I'm gonna check it out. I'll take some photos and we can have a review
Yeah,
after Thanksgiving on
I'm gonna
Caesars.
have to admit, I would like to get up there maybe after the holidays and things like that. And
Mhm.
I'm actually gonna probably have to leave the friends behind and literally treat it like a business trip so they can really kind of grasp and
Mhm.
spend some time up there. And I don't know, maybe I can kind of generate some type of meeting and go from there. I'll track someone kind of down and where.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot kind of going on. So yeah, I mean, between what took place kind of on Friday, I wound up playing golf on Friday morning, the ferry ride from Long Island over to Connecticut, the night out in Fairfield, Connecticut, Friday night, up in Boston area for the card show on Saturday, Boston to Mohegan Sun Saturday night, and then football Sunday.
Yeah,
I
you
let's
must
just say I
be.
slept pretty good, by the time I got back home.
One more thing before we move on from this. Did I see that New York passed sports betting?
You know what? Are you breaking something? I'm not
Uh,
exactly.
oh no! Oh, you're not aware. I just saw it. Actually, I think Will would be if he would have been with us. Would have had the information because I saw it off of Twitter where they
I
were
mean, look, it's been
picking
passed
the.
when it gets enacted or when it gets kind of approved. I'm pretty sure that it's gone through the right protocols. It's kind of sitting on the governor's desk.
Mhm.
Of course, Cuomo never got to it. I'm not sure where the initiative sits on the priority list of the new governor. So I mean, I think everything is there. It's just a matter of kind of getting finalized and then actually having one of these partners come to the table and say, all right, we're going ahead and launching. So
Yeah,
just because it's approved doesn't necessarily mean that there's not legwork to be done before the consuming public could take possession of the product.
sure. Yeah, I thought I saw something that Will retweeted that had a list of what will be available when it all is said and done. And it was quite an extensive list. And I know Caesars and Bet River was on there. So it might me in Connecticut thinking of like, hey, we're stuck with like 3 options to be able to go down to New York City and have it wide open is would be kind of nice,
Stuck with three. How many options do you need?
Well, DraftKings has problems with their app. The Connecticut Lottery sports book is kind of a snooze fest.
Got
FanDuel
you.
is good, like they have really good promos and stuff, but you know, um, we get a ton of advertisements for Caesars sports books, and I downloaded the app last night in anticipation for the trip. It might be better than FanDuel. Competition is always good. It
Yeah, yeah.
makes
All right.
the products better, and um, if pretty much the only option we have that's decent is FanDuel, it's just limiting.
Okay.
So
All right. So that's the review. Let's kind of just do a a little review of what took place, last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a rough week, like overall. I believe we only had 27 points, but it was good enough for fourth place. We just felt kind of outside of the money. So it looks like as much as things change, things still continue to remain the same. That's of course with regards to, I guess, me kind of performing at an acceptable kind of level. 2
Mm-hmm.
wins, 1 loss for me. 21 up and 15 down. Actually, I think that needs to be updated. I believe it's 23 up and 16 down.
Okay.
And for Will, I think the year totals haven't been adjusted kind of properly. Although, yeah, they haven't. Okay.
16 and 23 for Will. Yeah.
16 for 23. Look at this. The slide kind of got butchered. You're 1 up and 3 down. That's actually from the week before. So you
Gotcha.
were actually kind of 1 and 2 here. All right. So a little bit of an update here, but
2 and
we'll get
1.
the totals. We'll
Clean.
get the totals fixed and corrected for the following week. What's important to know is that I was 2 wins, 1 loss.
Yep.
Will, once again, just last place loser in life. 1 win, 2 losses. Can't make the show today, and you know what? I don't actually blame him. I think it's time for him to start, running and ducking and hiding from, his
The Barbs.
selections here. And you were 1 for 2. So
No, I think I was two
no, I'm
two and
sorry. I'm
one.
sorry. You were two wins. You were two wins, 1 loss. I was 2 wins, 1 loss, and
Yeah.
Will was 1. So 5 out of, and I think we actually got our bonus pick right. So we had 6 out of the 10 selections correct. So I continue to do well. You have a nice little bounce back week for yourself. From
I'm
the 1 and
trailing.
3.
I'm trailing, but I'm not. I'm not moving in the wrong direction
Correct.
too
Yep.
much. So
So that's
that
kind of like
game was just very strange, and
well,
they
like you said
lost.
here, the whole week was strange.
Yeah.
Very kind of strange week. So that's where we're at. So for this week here, I mean, a couple of additional things that I wound up kind of getting at the card show. As I said, like last week here, I was looking to secure some more product for a making pick show for the remainder of the Sunday night game. So this is kind of like a good one. So we got a 2017 Panini Patrick Mahomes. I'm also looking to kind of pick up this 2014 Panini National Treasures Derek Carr. It's got a patch. It will actually be numbered. The one that we give away here, I'm looking at the 11 out of 99. Could be something like different, but I'm pretty confident that I will be able to secure one at the price that I actually need to get it at. But one of these 2 cards could be yours. To win one of these 2 cards, very simple set of kind of rules here. You must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. It's Statement Games Inc. You can actually find Statement Games on Rumble as well. So whether it's on YouTube or Rumble or a combination of the two, got to be subscribed to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Drop a comment, and your comment needs to follow a very specific but simple format. You need to drop your Statement Games or Sports Host username. You need to be playing in the Sunday night Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders game on Statement Games or on Sports Host at statementgames.com or sportshost.com. We'll go through all the protocols in a couple of different seconds here. But as you make your picks, let us know what your number 10 pick is, and then also let us know what card you want to play for. So you're not getting both of them if you go 10 for 10 with your selections. And of course, you need to go 10 for 10 with your selections. We'll go through that in a second. But it's one of them. So let us know what card you want to play for, whether it's the Carr or the Mahomes card. So that's kind of like where we are at. If you want to stop sharing the screen and pull up, what do you think? We're just going to go statementgames.com for today, or all right. All right.
Yeah.
So statementgames.com, log in, free to play game. We are playing for one of these 2 cards. If you go 10 for 10 with your selections, we'll also come to the table with some nice apparel in the form of a t-shirt from Sports Hosts. But this is a free-to-play game. Join the Chiefs Raiders contest. We're going to be presenting you with a list of about 55 different props, game props, player props. You need to select 10 of them. Rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. And of course, if you don't go 10 for 10 with your picks, you do have the opportunity to win coins by finishing either first, second, or third in any contest you're playing. Those coins are exchangeable for cash gift cards of your choice through the Statement Games reward system. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we're at.
Absolutely. Yep. So we're going to be playing in contest 1 of the Sunday night game, Kansas City versus Vegas Raiders. If you see SG Live in as one of your contest mates, just know that that is us, Mark and Nate. No Will this week. So we didn't discuss this beforehand, but how do you want to do this, Mark? Do you want to do back and forth 3 and 3? Do you want to do 4 picks each? We don't want to leave Will too
Let's
far
do
behind.
three. Let's do 3 and 3, and then we'll leave the final 4 blank, and we'll make them kind of like an offline.
Sure.
Maybe we could send a quick message to Will and see if he wants to, give us 3 picks, and as long as they don't conflict or contradict, with what we're doing here, we'll throw his picks into the list, and we'll post his picks on social media as well, so that people are just aware of, what to
Yeah.
hedge against.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll do that after. And so why don't we then just kick it off? We'll go back and forth, rapid fire, and then take the rest off air.
All right, so I guess let's just kind of, unless you have any specific things that you want to throw out there,
Go
this is
for it.
what I'm thinking about, like this game. So, I mean, Kansas City's struggling kind of like on offense, and I mean, the Giants' defense looked like it was the '85 Bears, almost like in the last week against the Raiders. So, what I kind of like, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I think you guys can get the point. I think what you're kind of like, finding is that, in my opinion, the NFL is just a huge copycat league, and I think a lot of teams have kind of figured out how to actually play against these high-powered offenses, whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders, or even with the Rams. A lot of cover two, a lot of backs kind of dropping back into coverage here, and basically giving offenses the ability to pick up the underneath stuff, as long as you're not getting burned by the big play, to living with it. And then once you start getting inside like the 40, the 30, and the 20, the field starts kind of condenses, and you can be a little bit more aggressive and potentially playing for turnovers, interceptions, and things like that. So I think teams have adjusted to organizations like Kansas City. However, given the mentality of coaches like Andy Reid,
Mm-hmm.
um, and hey, you know what? He's been one of the most successful coaches in the NFL for a while now. I just don't see him kind of like changing. So I think that you know teams like Kansas City aren't going to change offensively. They're still going to try and go for the big stuff. I still think it's for the teams that are smart here, they have the opportunity to pick off like Mahomes or cause some kind of turnovers. But with that said, here I don't think the Vegas Raiders have learned that much either. I think
Mm-hmm.
they implement a very similar mentality. They're going to be going for like the big plays. They're going to be going kind of like for points, run and shoot type of kind of style. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about the game. I'm not sure if you have a different take. I know that points have almost been like at a premium with the Raiders and Chiefs in past weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see it this week. I see two organizations who aren't changing their offensive philosophies. So although it's been a struggle in the past couple weeks here, I think you're going to see points this week.
Yeah, and I would say that Kansas City would need to change their defensive strategy if they were going to hold the Raiders, because Kansas City's defense has not been good. Um, so I would say, yeah, I like this game for points. Um, I think that Raiders we're all kind of watching and waiting for the wheels to fall off a little bit after um, essentially losing a few of their players as well as their head coach, from controversy and different things that have happened over the course of the last few weeks of the season. So, that's one thing that gives me pause, but I think that they've been there's still like a fairly balanced offense getting Josh Jacobs back. They got Darren Waller. Um, Derek Carr has been, able to keep things going, keep the cart on the rails a little bit. So yeah, I'm with you. I like points in this game.
All right. So, I mean, if we're taking a look at picks here, points, and if there's going to be points here, I think both teams kind of stick with obviously the big boys, and I kind of like see Kansas City getting back to some of their bigger boys as well. So I'm actually referring to the tight end position here. I just kind of need one or two plays to actually go ahead and break. So my first selection here, I'm going to lock in Darren W. Let's go over 67.5 receiving yards.
There
The,
you
the the
go.
5.5 reception scares me like a little bit here. I think that line is kind of right on mark here. Could kind of go under, but given the Kansas City defense and the fact that hey, you know what, all I need is potentially, I need him to break one play, and obviously this guy plays more like a wide receiver than he does like a tight end.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'll
Yeah.
take the over.
Nice. All right, so I like Josh Jacobs being back. I like that they do run the ball very well. So I like Josh Jacobs for over 65.5 rushing yards here.
Okay.
Go for your next pick.
Um. All right. So let's get back to kind of some points here. So I'm not ready to pull the trigger just yet, although gone to the head, I would on Kansas City over 27.5 points,
Hmm.
but I will 100% pull the trigger on the Raiders over 25.5 points.
Gotcha. There you go. All right. Let's see. What else I really like? This running back position right here. You like it a lot in this game, especially when you tie in Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Um, I am going to take the over on the 0.5 rushing touchdown between the two of them. So either one getting a run score in Kansas City, they can usually move the ball very well. Obviously, there's some hiccups happening this season, but when they get into the red zone, if they can't get it done in the air, they're gonna pass it off to the running back um and rush one in. I just see it. It's gonna happen. So there it is. What do you got, Mark?
All right, we're talking about points here, so I wanted to see if you took the bait. You didn't, so I
Mm,
will. I'm not going to play any games, so let's go with total points over 52.5.
yeah. No, you definitely put my interest on, or you put my attention on the points when you said that. But when I saw that line, I just I wasn't ready to lose on that.
That's why I
Uh,
made it as the number. What is this? This is our number 5 pick. I put it down
yeah,
like I was gonna jump on the first pick here. I
yeah,
wanted to set up like a little bit of a preamble. I really like. I would have taken Kelsey as well. I mean, that maybe that's something that we can talk about on offline when we fill out the other picks, assuming that Will doesn't want to throw his hat into the ring.
yeah,
But I like the tight end kind of picks. But hey, you know what? I've seen enough of these games go under, whether it be last week's game with the Titans and the Rams. There have been like a couple of other games here. I mean, the Giants and the Chiefs. I mean, that game was almost in the 50s as well. There've been like a
yeah,
couple of games here. None of these games have actually sniffed close to 50 points. The one thing that I was shocked that did go over was this past Monday night with the Bears in the Steelers, although it was a little bit of a snooze fest for the beginning of the game here. And then towards the end, there was like a lot of points, and that basically blew out the well, I mean, I've never seen like a line that low. I think that one was what 38 and a half with 39 a half for a
hmm,
point total. So I think this is just it's time for one of these weeks in where the anticipation of a high scoring game lives up to like the billing. And I think, given the fact that I don't see these two teams changing their philosophical strategies,
philosophical.
philosophical strategies.
Yeah,
You see, I'm still freaking hungover from Mohegan Sun, last week, dude.
and you and me both. It's all
Yeah,
right.
right. You got the changing of the seasons here. I'm like in a fog. But anyway,
Yeah,
I think it's one of those games in where, hey, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
have a game do what it's supposed to do, which is score points.
Right. And so, thinking of the philosophies of both teams and specifically Kansas City, and we've been heavy on the Raiders picks. I want to flip my last one over to uh, pretty much Mr. Reliable here. Travis Kelce,
Okay.
over 6.5 receptions. I think it'd be a travesty not to make a Kelsey pick. And the receiving yards, a little high.
Yeah. Yep. I was
You
thinking
know,
the same
for
thing.
what I want to throw my hat into, but receptions wise, I definitely see a lot of chunk plays, uh, even if this game is low scoring for Travis Kelce. So yeah, there it is. We've got our picks in. We'll take the last four offline, and we'll try and get Will's picks as well. So for everyone out there, if you're playing in contest one of the Sunday night game, KC versus LV on statementgames.com, just know that you're playing against us. And Mark has come to the table with very interesting prizes. Just follow his rules and get a chance to win. What was it, your choice, or was it both of those slabs?
No, you got to pick one. You got to drop
Pick
which
one.
one in the comment section. Which one you want.
Gotcha. Very good. All right. So
And you got to
make
go
sure.
10 for 10 with your picks. That's an important thing here. The rules are important, but let's not forget the most important thing. You have to go
Yeah,
10 for 10 with your selections. Is it hard to do? Of
absolutely.
course it's hard to do. Is it possible? It is possible, but how many other gaming companies are giving you almost like a free lottery ticket in the sense of free? No social
Mhm,
security number. We're not
mhm.
asking for a deposit. We don't put your credit card number kind of on file. It is literally a free game, and you're just having a little bit of fun with a different form of fantasy sports, and you're going from there. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, make sure you're following on all social medias at Statement Games on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Statement Games Inc. YouTube channel, and as well as play the game, statementgames.com, or download through your app store on your mobile device. Mark, it's been great. Good show. A little longer, but we had some experiences to share and some
Yeah.
stuff to talk about. So it was all good, and look forward to having Will back next week and continuing on with
Yeah,
this.
Will wasn't feeling too well last week, so hopefully he's getting better as well. But it sounds like he's doing all right.
Yeah, sounds good. All right,
All
see you
right, man.
next
I'll
week.
catch you later.